Hey guys, so this week for Beyond Diamond, we were reading the chapter on the law of magnetism, and we were relating it back to standing out as a leader in the business. And to me, the law of magnetism is pretty self-explanatory. I guess it just kind of makes sense to me that basically you're going to attract the kind of people that you are. I'm probably going to attract moms and other business owners, people who have been entrepreneurs in other businesses. I obviously have other strengths and interests and stuff like that. But, those are more the type of people that I'm going to attract. And I'm probably not going to attract somebody who is, say, like a high power lawyer. Whereas Tova, who has worked in the legal field, she might be more likely to attract somebody like that into the business or just into, being a customer with her because, people want to relate with the people that they're around. They want somebody who understands them. So I think that was really, a strong point in the reading this week. And again, to me, it just kind of makes sense and it clicks with me. I know that I have had coaches in the past. I had this one coach who he was ex-military and he was not married. He had no kids. And this guy just could not stop trying to talk to moms about joining the business. And he was so frustrated. He finally quit because he just couldn't get anything going and he was so frustrated and just gave up. But I know that Brienne and I told him over and over and over and over and over again that he should not be talking to moms, like stay-at-home moms, because he had nothing in common with them. And he just could not get it through his head that who he needed to talk to was other veterans, other single guys who had been in shape because they were in the military or were athletes and that they needed to lose some weight that they had gained. He really didn't understand the law of magnetism, that you're going to attract people who are similar to you. One other thing that kind of came up for me with this chapter, it's really funny because it was something that my new success partner and I were talking about yesterday that we're kind of both struggling with, not 100%, but as a rule of thumb with most of the coaches that we have on our teams right now, we both feel like we have attracted people who are who we were when we first came into the business or before we came into the business. So I know for me, I really have struggled with my self-confidence and being shy. I'm not supposed to say that word or call myself that word anymore, but I used to think of myself as very shy, and I was. And looking at a lot of my coaches that I have right now, they are the person that I used to be. And we were talking about how, we need to kind of focus on really attracting people who are more like us now. And I think part of that is, we all tell our story, hopefully a lot. I know it's something I need to get even better with, but, I think I'm drawing people to me who are similar to how I used to be. They identify with my story. And I think that, with the law of magnetism, I really need to focus on also talking about who I've become, not just that I was a perfectionist and I really struggled with self-confidence because I felt like I had to be perfect all the time. And for other reasons, I just didn't feel comfortable, going out and talking to people and in social settings. And that's all stuff I've really worked with very hard on with personal development the last 2 years. Also people, like, I used to have some weight to lose and I would try something and fall off the wagon. I mean, it took me like 5 or 6 years to be consistent with working out and eating healthy to actually lose the weight. And I find with my challengers right now too, you know, I'm often attracting people who are in that pattern where they do it for a week or two and then they completely stop and can't get back on the wagon. They can't get themselves going and can't get themselves motivated. And obviously that's part of why I'm here, but I also can't do the workouts for them. But I really do strongly identify with them. I know exactly what they're going through and how hard it is. But, you know, I think I need to get better about telling my story as an evolution, not just talking about who I used to be, but talking about who I've become and, you know, what I've discovered about myself and how I've improved myself, to really try to also start to attract people who are more like myself right now. You know, and I think with, you know, we were talking about with this chapter about, you know, being an outstanding leader. You know, I think you really need to embrace what your strengths are and really, you know, focus on and talk a lot about, you know, what your strengths are, what your interests are. You know, be the best leader that you possibly can be so that you're attracting other leaders to you. You know, if you're not a strong leader and you're not, you know, walking the walk, you're just talking the talk, you know, you're probably not going to attract the kind of people to your business that, you know, that you want. You're not going to attract strong leaders. So I think it's really important for all of us to, you know, really embrace being a leader, really focus on, you know, on putting ourselves out there, so that people can see who it is that we are and the kind of leaders that we're working on becoming and that we are right now, so that we start to draw people into our businesses who are just as strong, if not better than we are, and, you know, have things in common with us. Again, you're probably not going to attract people to you who are very, very different from you. So I think that we all really need to focus on really kind of discovering what it is that are our strengths and weaknesses and what our interests are. You know, that was one thing that really hit me. Hold on just a second, sweetie. That was one thing that really hit me with the branding call that Julie Henderson did a couple weeks ago now. And, you know, I always kind of have struggled, or I guess the last 2 years, with having to post more on social media about what my interests are. I've kind of struggled with what it is. Like, obviously I'm into fitness, but you don't want to post about that all the time because, you know, you need to be more three-dimensional than that. And, you know, I post some about my business, being a business owner, but, you know, that not that many people are business owners, probably more than I give credit for, however. But at the same time, like, there are a lot of interests that I used to have, and it's not that I don't have them anymore, but, you know, with being a mom and working and all of that, it kind of, you know, got pushed to the side a little bit, I guess. And, you know, it doesn't mean though that it's not who I am and that I'm not interested in it anymore. You know, I used to play musical instruments a lot, and I just don't have a lot of time for that. But, you know, we inherited my stepmom's piano, and it's something that I've been working with Belle on learning to play and stuff like that. Even though I've given it up for the last 10 years or so, it doesn't mean that I don't have that interest. And I think it's really important for all of us to kind of look back into ourselves and look back into our past and kind of draw out stuff that you may still have an interest in, but you just haven't been very active in, because those are all things that you can talk about and draw people to you with. So I hope this helps you guys, and helps give you a different perspective, or maybe the same perspective on what you saw in the chapter. But those were my takeaways, and I am looking forward to watching your guys' videos too. Thanks.